The difference of divorcing a pilot versus someone else who works 9-to-5 job. First of all, pilots have fluctuating schedule. Typically, they get up to 18 days per month work schedule where they literally are not home. So 10 days a month, they're home, but you never know. They never know when it's going to be because the schedule, they bid 1 month in advance and then they get it upfront every month. That means for custody arrangements, it's going to be very difficult to say 2-2-3 schedule or 50-50 if you don't know their schedule. So typically what couples argue and agree eventually on is to have days off for pilot schedule. So they can say the parties would like to have 50-50 on the days off, reasonable visitation. So when the pilot is back home, then they get to keep the children during their custodial time. A lot of the times it's going to be really hard for the children because if they have their activities, if they have their daycare, school routine, homework, so everything with a pilot, when you're married to a pilot, you literally have to have a mindset, what's best for the children, regardless. Whether you're married to a pilot, you have to have that mindset. But particularly, marrying a pilot is fluctuating also their salary. Child support, spousal support can be fluctuating every month depending on their overtime worked, trips taken. So that way, every month potentially you have to recalculate what the child and spousal support could be, or have a set amount and then once a year recalculate, which will require if the pilot has accrued more hours and earned more money, that pilot would need to keep that amount so that they can pay it at the end of the year, which is also tricky. So I wouldn't do it once a year. I would do it once every 3 months to recalculate it. And bonuses, per diem, overtime, extra trips. So basically back to custody, the way to arrange it, a pilot also gets once a year, they get up to 2 weeks, depending on their seniority level, they get 2 weeks vacation. So that's the time they can literally plan ahead 1 year in advance. The court usually, knowing that one parent has such a difficult schedule, allow the parent who is traveling and who has to travel for work to have reasonable visitation. It's in the best interest of the children to have both parents be there for them. So that's the most difficult part, I would say. Divorcing a pilot is custodial schedule. Custodial schedule, visitation, vacation, holiday. It's very hard to plan. So you gotta get an open mind how to work with that kind of arrangement. Everything else is going to be pretty much the same as with any other divorce. You divide the retirement based on date of marriage, date of separation through qualified domestic relation order, which is splitting in half plus in fluctuating interest and accrued interest. Assets split the same way, date of marriage, date of separation. Everything else is the same. They might have life insurance. They might have the family on their health insurance that they would need to keep them on until actually divorce is final, until the judge stamped divorce final. Being married to a pilot, if you're about to marry a pilot, it's a tricky situation because you gotta know that it's a stressful job. Pilots usually, if they fly a bigger plane, they fly internationally, so their schedule is going to be off. When they come back, they're very tired. I saw that approximately 8 out of 10 pilots are in the second or third marriage. So it's very, very important to know that before marrying, you gotta accept that the schedule is going to be that. Sometimes the pilot is not going to be home. If another parent is not working, then you also have to know that you're depending on them passing the medical every year. So they have to go to doctor and check everything. And if they pass, then they get to keep their job, and they get to keep their trips and their salary. If they don't pass, that's it. So I would say, being married to a pilot, you gotta have your hobbies. You gotta rely also on your own financial independence. You gotta be okay to be with the children 20 days out of 30 days a month. And you gotta be okay then to be open to have custody arrangements upon divorce with days off for the pilot. So overall, it's fun to be married to a pilot. I personally am married to a pilot. And I think that knowing all of this in advance, going consciously into the marriage with that attitude will really help to stay in a healthy relationship. I hope that was helpful. Click like, subscribe, and I will see you in my next consultation. Bye!